The next morning brought more aliens and more problems. Minho Choi arrived at the station before sunrise, his transport kicking up dust as it landed. He was an exozoologist, one of the few humans who had studied the limited alien biology data that the Coalition had shared before arrival. Jiho met him at the landing pad. "They're serious about the Level 0 classification," Minho said without greeting. He looked tired, like he'd been up all night. "I've been reviewing the Coalition database they sent over. It's worse than we thought." "How much worse?" Minho pulled out his tablet. 847 surveyed worlds. Of those, only 12 still have what they call apex predators in the wild. And those 12 keep them on isolated preserves, far from any cities or towns. The Coalition standard is complete separation of intelligent life from dangerous fauna. Jiho rubbed his eyes. He hadn't slept much either. "So they think we're weird for living near lions and bears." "They think we're lying," Minho corrected. "Or they think we never actually face dangerous animals. That Earth's fauna just happens to be harmless." A new voice joined them. "They're wrong on both counts." Jiho turned to see Nari Song, the military liaison officer assigned to First Contact. She wore her uniform perfectly pressed despite the early hour, and her expression was all business. "Major Song," Jiho said, "I didn't know you were coming today." Change of plans. After yesterday's tour, the Coalition sent a formal request. They want to evaluate our animals properly, by their standards. They're bringing measurement equipment and comparison data. Nari's jaw tightened. They want to prove Earth is safe for their citizens. "They want to colonize," Minho said quietly. "Not colonize," Nari corrected. "Settle. Open immigration. Unrestricted tourism." They classify worlds by safety levels, and Level 0 means any Coalition citizen can come here without special permits or warnings. Jiho felt that cold feeling again. "We need time. Humanity needs time to prepare for that kind of integration." "Then we need to change their classification," Nari said simply. "Show them Earth isn't as safe as they think." "How?" Minho asked. "They measured our predators. They have data on bite force, speed, size. By galactic standards, Earth animals don't rank high in any category." Before anyone could answer, Ambassador Vrelk and his team arrived. They had brought equipment, lots of it. Scanning devices, measurement tools, things that hummed and blinked with alien technology. Quillen directed several other Coalition members in setting everything up. "Good morning, humans," Vrelk's translator announced. "We are ready to conduct proper evaluations. Please present your most dangerous fauna for measurement." Hana arrived with Taeyang, who was eating a breakfast bar and looking excited. The boy waved at Jiho, and Jiho waved back, trying to appear confident. "We've prepared several demonstrations," Hana said, "starting with our big cats." They moved to the tiger habitat first. A massive Siberian tiger named Sasha watched them from behind reinforced glass. She was beautiful. Her orange and black stripes perfect, her muscles rippling under her fur. Even Jiho, who saw her every day, felt a thrill of fear and respect. Quillen pointed his scanner at the tiger. Numbers appeared on a display that Jiho couldn't read. The alien made a thoughtful sound. "Impressive specimen. 420 pounds. Bite force approximately 1,000 psi, top speed 35 miles per hour. Quillen looked up from his device. "This is your apex predator?" "One of them," Hana said carefully. "I see." Quillen tapped his scanner. For comparison, the Threxian hunting beast from Coalition World 73 masses 800 pounds, achieves speeds of 60 miles per hour, and has a bite force of 3,000 psi. Your tiger is modest. Jiho wanted to argue, but the numbers didn't lie. By raw measurements, Earth's predators weren't the biggest or strongest in the galaxy. "What about hunting strategy?" Minho asked. "Tigers are ambush predators. They use intelligence and patience." Yes, Quillen said, sounding bored. "Predictable patterns. Ambush, chase, kill. We have documented 17 different predator strategies across Coalition worlds. Your tigers use strategy 4A. Very standard." Taeyang was watching the tiger closely. Sasha had moved to the glass, her eyes fixed on Quillen. Her tail twitched. The boy whispered to Hana, "She doesn't like him." "She's fine, sweetheart," Hana whispered back, but she moved Taeyang slightly behind her. They moved to other exhibits. The lions were dismissed as pack hunters, unimpressive individual specimens. The leopards were too small. Even the hyenas, with their incredible bite force, were classified as scavengers, minimal direct threat. Next came Deho Kang's turn. He was the marine biologist. and he'd prepared video footage since they couldn't exactly bring ocean predators to the Savannah station. The first video showed a great white shark breaching the water to catch a seal. "Now this is something," Daiho said enthusiastically. "Great whites can weigh over 2 tons and have serrated teeth that aquatic threats are easily managed," Vrelk interrupted. "Coalition citizens rarely enter natural water bodies. Contained environments are simple to control." "What else do you have?" Daiho showed footage of orcas, of giant squids, of saltwater crocodiles. Each time the aliens found reasons to dismiss them. Too specialized, too localized, too dependent on specific environments. By midday, Jiho could see the pattern. The aliens weren't trying to be rude. They genuinely saw Earth's fauna as harmless. They had come from worlds where the dangerous animals had been enormous, fast, and numerous. Earth's predators, by comparison, seemed manageable. Ambassador Vrelk called everyone together. His translator device seemed especially loud in the quiet afternoon. "We have completed our evaluation," he announced. "Earth's fauna, while interesting from a biological perspective, present minimal threat to intelligent life. Our classification stands Beast Threat Level 0. "What does that mean for us?" Nari asked sharply. "It means Earth will be opened for unrestricted coalition access. Tourism, trade, settlement, all without special safety protocols. This is good news. Most worlds require extensive safety training for visitors. Earth will not. We need time," Gio said. "Humanity isn't ready for unrestricted alien immigration. Our societies, our cultures, will adapt," Vrelk said simply. "They always do. We will file our report with the Coalition Council. Within 6 months, Earth will be fully integrated." Nari stepped forward, her military bearing clear. "And if we refuse? If humanity says no?" Vrelk's multiple eyes focused on her. "That would be unwise. The Coalition does not force membership, but isolation has consequences. Trade restrictions, technology limitations, exclusion from galactic society. Surely you do not want that." It was a threat wrapped in diplomatic language. Join or be left behind. Taeyang had been quiet through all of this, but now he tugged on Hana's sleeve again. This time he didn't whisper. He spoke clearly, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Can I show them Mr. Badger now?" "Please?" Hana looked down at her nephew. Every adult in the group turned to look at the 8-year-old boy. Quillen's translator made an amused sound. "Another animal? Child, we have evaluated dozens of your creatures. I assure you we are quite thorough." Taeyang looked at the alien with the serious expression that only children can manage. "But you haven't met Mr. Badger. He's different." "I'm sure he is," Quillen said in a tone that meant he wasn't sure at all. Jiho glanced at Hana, confused. He'd heard of the honey badger in the special habitats, but it was small, maybe 25 pounds. Why would Hana look so concerned about a child wanting to show it? Then he saw her face. She wasn't just concerned. She looked like she was making a decision, weighing options, calculating risks. Finally, she looked at Taeyang and gave a small nod. "Okay," she said quietly. "Go get Mr. Badger, but just for a visit." "A supervised visit?" Taeyang's face lit up. He ran toward the special habitat building, his footsteps echoing on the metal walkway. Vrelk made a sound that might have been a sigh. "Another demonstration is unnecessary, but if it pleases the child, we will observe." Nari moved closer to Hana. "What are you doing?" She whispered. "What's Mr. Badger?" Hana watched Taeyang disappear into the building. When she spoke, her voice was very soft, almost sad. "They wanted to know why Earth has no beasts," she said. "Maybe it's time we showed them the truth." While they waited for Taeyang to return, Yuna Lee joined the group. She was the big cat specialist and she looked frustrated. Jiho had known Yuna for 5 years, and he'd rarely seen her upset. She lived for her work with the tigers and lions, and she took the aliens' dismissal of them personally. "They don't understand," she said to Jiho. "They're measuring the wrong things." "What do you mean?" Yuna gestured at the tiger habitat where Sasha still watched them through the glass. "They measured size, speed, bite force, but they didn't measure will. They didn't measure determination. Sasha once tracked a sick gazelle for 3 days without stopping. 3 days. She didn't give up, didn't get distracted, didn't quit. That's what makes her dangerous." Minho had been listening. "That's the problem with pure data. It doesn't capture behavior. It doesn't show you what an animal will do when it's hungry or threatened or protecting its young." "The Coalition doesn't care about behavior," Nari said. They've spent thousands of years eliminating dangerous animals from their worlds. They see fauna management as a solved problem. Ambassador Vrelk was examining the facility's safety measures, pointing his scanner at the reinforced glass and electric fences. Quillen stood beside him, taking notes on a device that projected holographic symbols in the air. "Excessive precautions," Quillen commented. "For creatures of such limited capacity, these barriers are wasteful. On my world, we use simple sonic deterrents for animal control. Much more efficient." Yuna's hands clenched into fists. Jiho put a hand on her shoulder and shook his head slightly. Getting angry wouldn't help. Deho approached them, his tablet showing more marine footage. "I've got videos of hippos. They kill more humans per year than any large predator. Want to show them?" "They'll just say hippos are herbivores," Minho predicted. "They'll claim they're only dangerous when provoked." "Everything is only dangerous when provoked," Deho muttered. "That's how danger works." Movement caught Jiho's attention. Taeyang was returning, carefully carrying a small transport crate. It was the kind they used for animals that needed special handling. Secure locks, ventilation holes, warning labels on the side. But it was small, maybe 2 feet by 3 feet. The alien's attention focused on the crate. Quillen's translator made that amused sound again. "That container," Quillen said, "is quite small. What manner of beast requires such cautious transport yet fits in such limited space?" Taeyang set the crate down carefully on a designated platform in the outdoor arena. This was a space usually used for exercise and enrichment activities, surrounded by high walls and observation platforms. Hana checked the security systems twice, her fingers moving quickly over the control panel. "This is Mr. Badger," Taeyang announced proudly. "He's a honey badger. Aunt Hana takes care of him." Vrelk approached the crate, bending down to examine it with his multiple eyes. "A honey badger. I have reviewed your database. Malivora capensis. Mass approximately 12 kilograms. Diet includes insects, small mammals, carrion. Threat level." He paused, checking his scanner. "Threat level registers as negligible." "You should step back," Hana said quietly. "That is unnecessary. We are on an observation platform 4 meters above the arena floor, and the creature masses only 12 kilograms. Vrelk's tone was patient, like he was explaining something to a child. "Even if it possessed aggressive tendencies which your data does not indicate, it lacks the physical capacity to pose danger." Hana looked at Jiho. He saw something in her eyes. Not quite a warning, but close. She turned to Taeyang. "Open the crate, sweetheart. But stay behind me." The boy nodded and moved to the crate's release mechanism. He had done this before, Jiho realized. This wasn't his first time handling Mr. Badger. The lock clicked open with a soft sound. For a moment, nothing happened. The crate door swung open, showing darkness inside. The aliens leaned forward, their scanners active and humming. Then Mr. Badger emerged. He was small, just as the data said. Gray and white fur, short legs, a thick body that moved with a rolling gait. His face had distinctive white stripes, and his small eyes scanned the arena. He looked, Jiho thought, almost cute in a rough way. Quillen's translator made a sound that might have been a laugh. "This is your fearsome creature." "This small mammal?" Mr. Badger sat down and scratched behind his ear with a back leg, looking completely ordinary. Several of the alien observers made amused sounds. Even Vrelk seemed to relax. "Its proportions are unusual," Vrelk commented. "But I see nothing that would warrant such extensive security measures. Perhaps humans are simply overcautious." Hana didn't respond. She was watching the arena floor carefully. Jiho followed her gaze and saw what she was looking at. A small snake, maybe 3 feet long, that had emerged from the tall grass at the arena's edge. It was a puff adder, one of the specimens from the reptile house. It must have escaped, or... Jiho looked at Hana again. Her face was carefully neutral. The snake hadn't escaped. She had placed it there. Mr. Badger's head snapped toward the snake. His entire body language changed in an instant. The cute, scratching animal vanished. What remained was something else entirely. The honey badger moved. Jiho had studied animal behavior for 20 years. He had watched predators hunt, had seen fights between territorial animals, had witnessed the raw violence of nature countless times. Nothing had prepared him for the honey badger's attack. It wasn't the speed, though Mr. Badger was fast. It wasn't the power, though his jaws clamped down with shocking force. It was the absolute, total, complete absence of hesitation. The honey badger attacked the puff adder, a venomous snake that could kill a human, like it was personally offensive to him. like its existence was an insult. The snake struck. Its fangs sank into Mr. Badger's face. The honey badger didn't stop. Didn't slow down, didn't even seem to notice. He grabbed the snake behind its head and began tearing it apart with methodical fury. "By the void," Quillen whispered, his translator barely audible. The fight lasted less than a minute. When it was over, the snake was dead, and Mr. Badger sat in the middle of the arena, blood on his face, looking absolutely unconcerned about the venom now coursing through his system. He yawned, showing impressive teeth, then began eating the snake. Vrelk's scanner was beeping frantically. That serpent. The venom. My readings indicate it contains neurotoxin sufficient to kill a creature 50 times the badger's mass. He'll be fine, Hannah said calmly. Honey badgers have resistance to most venoms. He'll be groggy for a few hours, then he'll be hungry. But the ferocity, Quillen said, his voice higher than before, the complete disregard for self-preservation. That level of aggression in a creature so small, it's illogical. Evolutionary disadvantageous. And yet, Minho said quietly, honey badgers thrive. They live across Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. They have no natural predators because nothing wants to deal with them. Una spoke up, her voice carrying across the observation deck. You measured physical capability. You looked at size, speed, strength. You thought those numbers told you everything about danger? They do, Vrelk said, but he sounded less certain now. They must. No, Una said. They tell you about capacity, not about will. That badger down there, he doesn't care that he's small. He doesn't care about pain or venom or death. He just cares about winning. Mr. Badger finished his snake snack and looked around the arena. His small eyes swept across the space, taking in everything. Then he looked up, at the observation platform, at the aliens. Jiho felt his breath catch. The honey badger's gaze was focused, calculating. And then Mr. Badger started walking toward the platform's support structure. He's locating us, Nari said. He knows we're here. Of course he does, Hannah replied. Honey badgers are intelligent. They can solve problems, use tools, remember complex routes. Mr. Badger is one of our smartest residents. Mr. Badger reached the wall. It was smooth metal designed to be unclimbable. The honey badger examined it for approximately 5 seconds. Then he started climbing. His claws found purchase in microscopic gaps. His powerful legs pushed him upward. He moved slowly but steadily, ignoring gravity and logic with equal indifference. That's impossible, Quillen said. The wall surface provides insufficient grip for a creature of his mass and limb structure. You should tell him that, Deho said, pointing at the badger who was now halfway up the wall. Vrelk stepped back from the edge of the platform. Why is it approaching us? We pose no threat to it. We took no aggressive action. Taeyang spoke up, his child's voice clear in the shocked silence. Mr. Badger doesn't like strangers. Aunt Hannah says he thinks the whole station is his territory. The honey badger reached the top of the wall and pulled himself onto the platform level. He was 10 feet away now, separated from them by a secondary safety barrier. Reinforced glass designed to stop charging buffalo. Mr. Badger looked at the glass. He looked at the aliens behind it. Then he charged. The impact of a 25-pound animal hitting reinforced glass shouldn't have been impressive. It was. Mr. Badger slammed into the barrier with his full body weight, claws extended, teeth bared, making a sound that Jiho could only describe as pure rage. Every alien on the platform stumbled backward. Mr. Badger hit the glass again. And again. And again, he wasn't trying to escape. He wasn't confused or frightened, he was attacking. Taeyang secured Mr. Badger's crate with practiced ease. The honey badger went willingly, already looking sleepy from the snake venom working through his system. The boy gave him a small piece of meat as a reward, then locked the crate. He looked up at the aliens with innocent curiosity. Do you want to see him again tomorrow? Taeyang asked. He's usually more active in the morning. Nobody answered. The aliens were still processing what they had witnessed. Quillen's scanner had recorded the entire encounter, and he played it back twice, his multiple eyes fixated on the small screen. Hyunbei appeared from the research section. Jiho hadn't even noticed him arrive. Hyun was an animal behaviorist who usually worked behind the scenes, analyzing data and writing reports. He was quiet, thoughtful, and rarely joined the public demonstrations. But he was here now, tablet in hand, expression serious. You measured wrong, Hyun said without preamble. Vrelk turned his attention to the new human. I assure you our scanning technology is quite advanced. We measured bone density, muscle mass, bite force, speed metrics. You measured physical capability, Hyun interrupted. You didn't measure behavioral traits. You didn't measure will, aggression, territorialism, or pain tolerance. Those are the metrics that actually determine danger. Behavioral traits are secondary to physical capacity, Quillen argued, but his voice lacked confidence. A creature can be aggressive, but if it lacks the physical tools to cause harm— That badger was bitten by a puff adder, Hyun said. That snake's venom contains cytotoxins and neurotoxins. In humans, a bite causes severe pain, swelling, and can be fatal without treatment. The badger noticed the bite for approximately 2 seconds before ignoring it completely. He pulled up a video on his tablet and projected it onto a larger screen. It showed a honey badger, probably Mr. Badger, digging into a beehive while thousands of bees stung him repeatedly. The badger didn't stop, didn't hesitate, just kept digging until he got the honey and larvae he wanted. African honeybees, Hyun explained. Their stings can kill large animals through sheer numbers. The badger doesn't care. He has thick skin that the stingers can barely penetrate, and he's resistant to the venom. Another video played. This one showed a honey badger fighting a pack of jackals. The jackals were larger, faster, and outnumbered the badger 6-1. The badger won, not because he was stronger or bigger, but because he simply would not stop fighting. The jackals eventually gave up and left. You see, Hyun said, you classified Earth's fauna by capacity. We classify them by behavior. A honey badger is dangerous not because of what it can do, but because of what it will do. Minho stepped forward, his own tablet ready. Let's talk about behavioral patterns across Earth species. You said tigers use strategy 4A, predictable ambush tactics. But what happens when prey becomes scarce? When a tiger gets old and can't hunt effectively? He showed images of tigers attacking animals much larger than themselves. Tigers fighting crocodiles. Tigers bringing down young elephants. They adapt, Minho continued. They change strategies. They take risks. Earth's predators don't have one hunting pattern. They have dozens, and they switch between them based on circumstances. Adaptability is valuable, Vrelk conceded. But it does not change the fundamental metrics. A tiger is still only 400 pounds. Our safety protocols are based on worst-case scenarios with creatures far more massive. Then let's talk about the creatures you dismissed, Yuna said. She had been waiting for this moment, Jiho realized. She projected images onto the screen, each one carefully selected. Hippos, she said. The image showed a massive hippopotamus with its mouth open, revealing enormous tusks. You called them herbivores, minimal threat. They kill approximately 500 humans per year in Africa. They're territorial, aggressive, and can bite a crocodile in half. An adult male weighs 4 tons and can run 30 kilometers per hour on land. Quillen made a dismissive gesture. But they are herbivores. Territorial aggression is manageable with proper boundaries. Cassowaries, Yuna continued, ignoring him. The next image showed a large, colorful bird with a distinctive helmet-like crest. Flightless bird, 130 pounds. Looks harmless. Can disembowel a human with one kick using their 4-inch claws. They're considered the world's most dangerous bird, and they will attack without provocation. Daeho took over. Box jellyfish. Nearly invisible in water, their venom can kill a human in minutes. Inland taipan snake. One bite contains enough venom to kill 100 adult humans. Sydney funnel web spider, aggressive and highly venomous. Stonefish. Perfectly camouflaged and so venomous that stepping on one causes pain so severe that victims beg for amputation. The images kept coming. Bullet ants with stings so painful they're used in tribal initiation rites. Poison dart frogs whose skin contains enough toxin to kill 10 men. Saltwater crocodiles that can hold their breath for hours and drag prey 3 times their size underwater. These are all small, Quillen protested. Mass under 1 ton, most far less. They can be avoided easily, can they? Nari asked. She had been silent during the demonstrations, but now she stepped forward with military precision. Let me tell you about human history, Ambassador. About what it took for us to survive on this planet. She brought up a map of Earth highlighting different regions. 10,000 years ago, humans were not the dominant species. We were prey, hunted by cave lions that weighed 800 pounds, stalked by short-faced bears that stood 12 feet tall, chased by terror birds that could run faster than any human. But those creatures are extinct, Vrelk said. Yes. And do you know why? Nari's voice was sharp. Not because we were stronger. Not because we were bigger, because we were more stubborn. We refused to die. We adapted, we innovated, we persisted. We turned ourselves from prey into predators through sheer determination. Hyun pulled up more data. Here's what you didn't measure, Ambassador. You didn't measure mosquitoes, tiny insects that kill more humans per year than any large predator through disease transmission. You didn't measure parasites that can control their host's behavior. You didn't measure bacteria that can kill in hours. Those are disease vectors, Quillen said, not predators. On Earth, the distinction doesn't matter. Danger comes in every size, from every direction. A human can survive a leopard attack but die from a tick bite. We can build shelters that withstand earthquakes but lose thousands to microscopic viruses. Jiho finally spoke up. He had been watching the aliens' reactions, seeing their certainty slowly crack. You asked why Earth has no beasts, Ambassador. You thought it meant we had no dangerous animals, but that's not what it means at all. Vrelk's multiple eyes focused on Jiho. Then what does it mean? It means every living thing on this planet learned to be dangerous or it died, Jiho said quietly. Earth doesn't have beasts. Earth is beasts. From the honey badger that fights lions to the goose that attacks humans in parking lots. From the hippo that kills for territory to the mosquito that kills through disease. Taiyang had been listening to everything, sitting cross-legged near Mr. Badger's crate. He spoke up in his clear child's voice. My teacher says that on Earth even the rabbits have big teeth and strong kicks. Even the deer have antlers. Even the plants have thorns and poison. The child is correct, Hyun said. Earth's evolutionary pressures created an arms race. Predators got better at hunting, so prey got better at escaping. Prey developed defenses, so predators developed counters. Nothing on this planet had the luxury of being weak. Everything had to fight to survive. Minho pulled up a final image, a world map showing the distribution of dangerous species. The map was almost entirely colored in. You surveyed 847 worlds. How many of them have dangerous fauna in every ecosystem? On every continent? In every climate zone from Arctic to tropical? Quillen checked his database. Only 7. Earth is the 8th. And of those 8, Minho continued, how many have dangerous species in both terrestrial and aquatic environments? How many have venomous species, bacterial dangers, parasitic threats, and large predators all coexisting? Quillen was silent for a long moment. Only Earth. Because Earth never stopped testing its species, Yuna said. Ice ages that wiped out the weak. Mass extinctions that reset the evolutionary playing field. Climate changes that forced constant adaptation. For billions of years, Earth was a testing ground for survival. Only the most adaptable, most determined, most dangerous species made it through, including humans, Nari added. We are the product of that same testing ground. We survived everything Earth threw at us. The cold, the heat, the predators, the diseases, the disasters. We didn't just survive, we thrived, because we learned from our environment. Vrelk looked at the honey badger crate. Mr. Badger was sleeping now, recovering from the venom, completely at peace. That creature, it's an aberration, surely. An outlier? No, Hana said softly. He's typical. There's a wolverine in the northern habitats that fights bears for food, a shrew in the small mammal section that must eat every 2 hours or die, and will attack anything that gets between it and food. A weasel that can kill rabbits 10 times its size. They're all like Mr. Badger, all of them. She looked at the aliens directly. You wanted to classify Earth as level 0, safe for unrestricted settlement. The aliens stayed at the station for 3 more days. They didn't ask for more demonstrations. Instead, they spent their time reviewing data, scanning environments, and having quiet conversations among themselves. Jiho watched them from a distance, wondering what they were thinking. On the morning of the 4th day, Ambassador Vrelk requested a final meeting. Everyone gathered on the observation deck again. Jiho, Hana, Minho, Nari, Yuna, Daiho, and Hyun. Taiyang was there too, sitting quietly with a book about African wildlife open in his lap. Vrelk looked different somehow. His posture was less confident, his movements more careful. He had spent the previous afternoon watching Mr. Badger through the habitat cameras. Hana had told Jiho, just watching, not scanning or measuring, just trying to understand. We have completed our revised assessment, Vrelk announced. His translator carried a tone that Jiho had learned to recognize as serious. Our initial classification was inadequate. Quillen stepped forward, his own scanner displaying information. We made an error in our evaluation methodology. We measured physical capacity in isolation, without considering behavioral factors, environmental pressures, or evolutionary context. We have encountered this error before, Vrelk continued. 40 years ago on Coalition World 612, we classified a species of pack hunters as low threat based on individual measurements. We did not account for their cooperation, their strategy, or their persistence. 3 settlements were evacuated before we corrected our assessment. Earth is different, Quillen said, more complex. Every ecosystem contains multiple threat categories: venom, disease, physical damage, behavioral aggression, all coexisting in concentrated populations. Minho leaned forward. What does that mean for your classification? Vrelk's multiple eyes moved across the assembled humans. It means we were wrong. Fundamentally, completely wrong. Earth is not level 0. Nari's expression didn't change, but Jiho saw her shoulders relax slightly. What level, then? We are creating a new classification, Quillen said. Level Omega. It designates worlds where the intelligent species evolved in constant competition with extreme fauna across all ecosystem types. Only 8 worlds in Coalition records qualify. Earth is one of them, Vrelk said, and by our measurements it may be the most extreme example. Jiho felt something tight in his chest loosen. What does level Omega mean for settlement and immigration? Restricted access, Quillen explained. Visitors must complete extensive training. Safety protocols are mandatory. Settlement requires special permits and demonstrated survival skills. Earth will be treated as what it is, a world where danger is woven into the fabric of life itself. Good, Nari said simply. Vrelk shifted, a gesture that might have been uncomfortable. We owe you an apology. We arrived with assumptions based on incomplete data. We dismissed your concerns. We underestimated your world and by extension your species. You measured our animals, Hyun said quietly, but you didn't understand them. Size and strength aren't what make something dangerous on Earth. It's will, determination, adaptation. Those are harder to measure, but far more important. Taeyang looked up from his book. Like Mr. Badger? Vrelk's eyes focused on the child. Yes, like Mr. Badger. That creature taught us more about Earth in 10 minutes than our scanners did in a week. He's sleeping now, Taeyang said. The snake venom makes him tired. But tomorrow he'll be hungry again. Aunt Hannah says he's always hungry. Hannah smiled at her nephew. Honey badgers have very fast metabolisms. They eat constantly to keep up their energy. Energy for what? Quillen asked. For living, Hannah said simply. For surviving. For being themselves, Yuna spoke up. Can I ask you something, Ambassador? You said your world eliminated its dangerous fauna 4,000 years ago. What was it like? The great flying predators? Vrelk was quiet for a moment. They were magnificent. 30-meter wingspans, as I mentioned. They could lift prey twice their mass. They hunted in pairs, coordinating attacks with remarkable intelligence. Why did you kill them? Because they killed us, Vrelk said. Our early cities were vulnerable. Settlements could be destroyed by a single attack. We had no choice but to fight back. And you won, Yuna said. We won, Vrelk agreed. We developed weapons, strategies, traps. It took 300 years, but we eliminated every one of them. Our world became safe. Our civilization could finally flourish without fear. Do you regret it? Jiho asked carefully. Vrelk's eyes moved in patterns that Jiho couldn't interpret. I never thought I did. It was necessary. Survival demanded it. But standing here, seeing your tigers and lions and elephants, seeing that small fierce creature in its crate, I wonder what we lost. Not just the predators themselves, but what they taught us. The caution, the respect for nature, the understanding that we are part of the ecosystem, not above it. Minho nodded slowly. That's why we preserve them. Not in spite of the danger, but because of it. They remind us where we came from, what we survived, what shaped us into who we are. Your species made a different choice than ours, Quillen observed. You chose coexistence. Difficult, dangerous coexistence. We did, Jiho agreed. And it hasn't been easy. People die every year from animal encounters. Lions escape sometimes. Snakes end up in homes. Sharks attack swimmers. We could eliminate these threats if we wanted to. We have the technology and the weapons, but you don't, Vrelk said. No, because they're part of Earth, part of us in a way. The honey badger's stubbornness, the wolf's loyalty, the crow's intelligence, these aren't just animal traits. They're human traits too. We learned from them, or maybe we learned alongside them. Either way, removing them would remove something essential about what it means to be from Earth. Deho added, plus, practically speaking, ecosystems need predators. Remove the lions and the herbivore populations explode. Remove the herbivores and the plants suffer. Remove any major piece and the whole system destabilizes. We learned that lesson the hard way a few centuries ago. Nari's military perspective came through. And strategically, living with dangerous animals keeps us sharp. Our emergency response systems, our medical technology, our situational awareness, all of it is better because we face real threats regularly. A civilization that eliminates all danger tends to become complacent. Interesting perspective, Vrelk said. The coalition has indeed grown comfortable. Our worlds are carefully controlled environments, predictable, safe. Some might say too safe. Taeyang had been listening intently. Now he closed his book and stood up. Mr. Ambassador, can I ask you something? Of course, young one. Do you have any animals on your world? Not dangerous ones, but any animals? Vrelk seemed surprised by the question. We have domesticated species, food animals, some kept as companions. Why do you ask? Because I feel bad for you, Taeyang said with the honest directness of a child. A world without animals sounds lonely. Even the dangerous ones are beautiful. Even Mr. Badger when he's not attacking things. Nobody spoke for a moment. Then Vrelk made a sound that the translator rendered as soft laughter. You are wise beyond your years, child. Yes, it is lonely sometimes. We have order and safety and predictability, but we lost wildness. We lost the unexpected. We lost the knowledge that not everything can be controlled or measured or predicted. You can visit Earth whenever you want, Taeyang said. You'll need permits and training and stuff, but you can come see Mr. Badger again. He might remember you. I doubt that creature remembers anything except rage and honey, Quiln muttered, but his tone was almost affectionate. Hana laughed. Actually, honey badgers have excellent memories. Mr. Badger definitely remembers you. He'll probably attack the glass again next time. Wonderful, Quiln said dryly. Something to look forward to. The meeting continued for another hour, discussing practical details about Earth's new classification, trade agreements, cultural exchange programs. But the important moment had passed. Understanding had been reached, not through data or measurements, but through a small child, a fierce animal, and the willingness to see past assumptions. As the aliens prepared to leave, Vrelk approached Jiho one final time. When we arrived, we were convinced Earth was a simple world, safe, easy to categorize. That child asked a simple question. Should you show us what your animals could do? The answer taught us humility. The answer taught us something too, Jiho said. We've lived with these animals so long that we forgot how extraordinary they are. How extraordinary Earth is. Sometimes it takes an outside perspective to see what's always been in front of you. A fair exchange, then. You taught us about danger and survival. We taught you to appreciate what you have. Jiho smiled. I think we both learned that simple measurements don't tell the whole story. Whether it's a honey badger, a planet, or a species, Vrelk's translator hummed. Truth. We will return someday with proper preparations and great respect. Earth has much to teach the Coalition. You're welcome anytime, Jiho said. Just maybe avoid Mr. Badger's feeding time. After the aliens departed, the team gathered one final time on the observation deck. The sun was setting again, painting the savanna in brilliant colors. In the distance, a herd of elephants moved slowly across the plains. Somewhere, a lion called to its pride. The sounds of Earth's wildlife filled the air as they had for millions of years. Jiho Park stood at the edge of the observation deck, watching the massive alien ship settle onto the African plains. The grass bent flat under invisible forces and dust swirled in perfect circles. He had dreamed of this moment his entire career as a xenobiologist. First contact, the day humanity would finally meet beings from another world. Beside him, Hana Kim checked her datapad for the 100th time. She was the head wildlife keeper at Conservation Station Alpha 7 and she looked nervous. Her fingers kept tapping the screen even though nothing had changed in the last 30 seconds. They're here for peace, Jiho said, trying to sound confident. The Coalition sent friendly messages for 3 months before coming. Hana nodded but didn't look convinced. I know. I just hope they understand what we do here. Some people don't get why we keep dangerous animals alive. A small voice piped up from behind them. Because the animals are cool. Jiho turned to see Taeyang, Hana's 8-year-old nephew. The boy was supposed to be in the education center, Not on the observation deck during first contact. Hana sighed and ruffled his hair. You're supposed to be with the other kids, Taeyang. But I wanted to see the aliens. The boy pressed his face against the glass, leaving a smudge. Do you think they have lions on their planets? Before Hana could answer, the alien ship's door opened. A ramp extended smoothly to the ground. 3 figures emerged, walking with strange, clicking movements. They looked like giant insects with hard shells that shimmered blue and green in the sunlight. Each had 6 legs and multiple eyes on a head that swiveled independently from their bodies. Wow, Taeyang whispered. Ambassador Vrelk was the first to reach the observation deck. Jiho had seen pictures during the video communications, but seeing the alien in person was different. Vrelk stood nearly 8 feet tall, and his shell had patterns that seemed to move when he walked. A translator device hung around what Jiho assumed was his neck. Greetings, humans of Earth, the translator said in a flat, mechanical voice. I am Ambassador Vrelk of the Coalition of Surveyed Worlds. We come in peace and curiosity. Jiho stepped forward and bowed slightly the way they had practiced. Welcome to Earth, Ambassador. I'm Jiho Park, Senior Xenobiologist. We're honored by your visit. Vrelk's eyes rotated, taking in the observation deck and the savannah beyond. Your world is surprising. Our scans detected much biological activity, but we see only small creatures. He gestured toward the plains where a herd of zebras grazed in the distance. We expected larger fauna, more dangerous beasts. Hana stepped forward. We have many large animals, Ambassador. This is a wildlife sanctuary. We protect and study Earth's creatures here. One of Vrelk's companions, a slightly smaller alien named Quiln, made a sound that the translator turned into laughter. Protect from what? These striped animals appear docile. Herbivores, yes? Yes, Hana said carefully. Those are zebras. But we also have predators. Lions, leopards, hyenas. We have reviewed your database, Quiln interrupted. Your so-called predators register as minimal threats. Small mass, moderate bite force, predictable behavior patterns. In the Coalition, we classify worlds by their beast threat level. Earth registers as level 0. Jiho felt his smile slip. Level 0? Correct, Vrelk said, and his tone sounded almost apologetic. It means your world has no significant fauna threats. This is actually quite rare and valuable. Most worlds that develop intelligent life do so only after eliminating their dangerous megafauna. Your species appears to have faced no such challenges. That's not true, Jiho said, trying to keep his voice calm. Humans coexisted with dangerous animals for thousands of years. We chose to preserve them, not eliminate them. Quiln made that laughing sound again. Chose or simply never faced real danger? I have studied 847 worlds in the Coalition database. True apex predators, beasts that threaten civilization, these are rare. Only 12 worlds still maintain such creatures and none near population centers. Taeyang tugged on Hana's sleeve. She looked down at him and he whispered something. Hana's eyes went wide and she shook her head quickly. The boy frowned but stayed quiet. Vrelk was still talking, his translator device working smoothly. Our own world, Chris, once had great beasts. Flying hunters with wingspans of 30 meters. We eliminated them 4,000 years ago. It was necessary for our survival and progress. We made different choices, Hana said softly. Indeed, Vrelk replied. And that is why Earth is so valuable. A pristine world safe for settlement with no dangerous fauna to complicate colonization. The Coalition will be most pleased. Jiho felt something cold settle in his stomach. Settlement? We haven't agreed to any— Of course, Vrelk said, waving one of his many limbs. All in time. First, we must complete our survey. We would like to tour your facility, see these animals you protect. It will be educational for us to see such primitive ecosystems. The word primitive hung in the air like an insult. Jiho saw Hana's jaw tighten. Even little Taeyang looked upset. We'd be happy to give you a tour, Jiho said, forcing politeness into his voice. Hana is our best guide. She knows every animal here. They began walking through the facility. Vrelk and Quiln examined everything with their multiple eyes, commenting on the quaint habitats and unnecessary safety measures. They passed the lion enclosure where a massive male was sleeping in the shade. Magnificent, Jiho said, but dangerous. Adult males can weigh over 500 pounds. Quiln's translator made a dismissive sound. On Chris, our ancient predators weighed 20 tons. This is merely a large cat. Taeyang had been walking quietly beside them, but now he spoke up. Mr. Jiho, can I ask something? Sure, Taeyang. The boy looked at the aliens with his head tilted. Should we show them what our animals can really do? Like really, really do? Jiho laughed, trying to ease the tension. I don't think that's necessary, buddy. Our guests are just visiting. But Hana wasn't laughing. She looked at Taeyang with an expression Jiho couldn't quite read. Worry, maybe, or something else. Something that made Jiho suddenly remember that Hana worked in the special habitats too. The ones they didn't show tourists. The ones where they kept the animals that even experienced handlers approached with extreme caution. Vrelk was already moving toward the next exhibit, still talking about Earth's fortunate lack of genuine threats. Quiln agreed enthusiastically, their voices carrying across the observation deck. Taeyang looked up at his aunt. Auntie Hana, he whispered, they don't understand. They think Earth animals are weak. Hana knelt down to his level. I know, sweetheart. But maybe that's okay. Not everyone needs to know everything. But they're going to tell everyone Earth is safe, that our animals aren't special. Hana looked at her nephew for a long moment, then at the aliens walking ahead, then at the vast savanna beyond the glass where life had learned to survive for millions of years, in the most brutal classroom in the galaxy. We'll see, she finally said. We'll see.